Hey, what's good people? Welcome to the People's Channel, where authentic stories are told by real people. I'm your host, Tupac Man, Mr. 925, in Tambu Mtlakazi, Whiting Dizachogega. Thank you so much to everyone that's going to get a chance to listen to this episode. This is a very special episode since it's Women's Month, and we are celebrating all things women, and what better way to celebrate Women's Month by having two of the bravest, of the smartest, of the very opinionated women in the space to come and share their experiences and their journey with regards to women's issues and stuff. But on this episode, we are talking all things relationships, all things modern relationships. So yeah, please do stick around and follow the conversation. You can engage with us on Instagram. Our Instagram page is at tpj_podcast, and that's where you'll find our Instagram page. But for now, let's get into the conversation.
Any relationship is the way it should be. Exactly. Yes. And that is why also we talk about people in open relationships, people in
However, I'm against. Me personally, it's my preference, as you said. You're gonna get me talking.
Okay, I have to interject today, just to give people context of what's happening right now. So yeah, welcome back. We still edit. This time around, we are joined by a guest, and it's about to get interesting because we are talking all things modern day relationships.
So I am not a guest anymore.
Oh, well, we've got two guests.
It's Women's Month.
It's Women's Month, so yeah, man, the aura says woman all around me.
Definitely.
We have Oboni. So can you please introduce yourself with your art? And
wow.
Yes, because I missed that, Mena Oboni, so how I know her is from, she's my fire buddy from 2016,
Yes!
From CTA South Africa. Shout out CTA, yeah. So yeah, introduce yourself. Boniso Bonbiza.
Bonbiza, that's another one. Bonbizzle, my nizzle for shizzle.
Rhyme away, won't you?
I'm also gonna rap someday. I hope. Boniswa Laura Kanyile. In number plate info. Yes, that's me. I don't know. I'm human. That's the race.
Yeah.
I'm human. I love love. I love art. And I'm also that. I am love and I am art. A whole literal mother nature.
Yeah.
Bearer of life. Yes, I look beautiful. Self-love is the first love. The real true love.
The real true love.
The real true love.
Miss Mabe, do you wanna remind the people?
Yes. So caring is sharing. So for this part of the podcast within this interview, I wanted to share this with you because I enjoy your insight. I enjoy your insight. And also, funny enough, so yeah, I also wanted you to be another perspective, given the circumstances.
Yeah.
And that when I say given the circumstances, I'm saying that because the interviewer and the interviewee at this moment,
yes.
have some or other relationship and we don't now want to blow our own horn, which is something we could have done. But also, just to also give perspective outside of the little shell that we are in, because we can blow it and blow it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that is how life is all in all, right?
Yeah.
So we can say the definite love language is A, baby. Yeah, definitely it's A. But we want a perspective that can say, but it's C. It's also E.
Yeah, it's like 1 + 1 is not equals to 2. It's 3, it's 4. It's perspectives.
Yeah, but also it's because obviously, friend, I love your insight. I love definitely. And we have this bromance about it.
Yes.
I don't know what you call the woman one.
It is what it is.
Cis-man.
It is what it is.
Cis-mans.
If you feel it's a bromance, it is what it is.
Definitely.
So,
like we are talking relationships.
We are.
That's our perspective of a bromance.
and come to think of it, it kind of just makes me think, Uwiti, this whole thing of old relationship and modern relationship is a concept, because at the end of the day it's just a relationship. Young Ton, modern, old, but it's a relationship. And it's like what Sidi was saying, Guti, what might work, A is not A, you B, Young Ton, just like that. So when let me start from you, just your perspective on modern relationships or relationships.
Yazi, when we grow, we I think there's this thing called conditioning. We are conditioned to view things from a certain perspective, right?
Yeah.
And people hardly say, but this is the way I see it, like you are saying. There's A, there's B, there's C. If I'm comfortable with A, what's wrong with another person being comfortable with B? As long as your B does not impose on my A. My preference is my space. I need. In your space, you don't want to be uncomfortable by a foreign something. Yes. So that's how I see izinto isikhathini. Why are we conditioning things? Why are we teaching when we are supposed to be learning? Yes, we can teach because knowledge, angithi, there's impartation and all of that.
Yeah.
But life is about learning.
Yeah.
We don't learn the same way.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Because when you are becoming, you have to learn and unlearn.
And yes, we have to unlearn the teachings we've been conditioned.
Yeah.
And yes, that's me.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, the conditioning comes because of power in the world. We always want to have power over, some systems within this world have made it so when we're talking relationships, right?
Yeah.
It's you referring to romantic relationships.
It's me referring to romantic.
To whatever is.
Yeah.
When I say relationship,
okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yazi, there's this thing of labeling things. It's a relationship. Why must it be modern?
Old.
Why must it be traditional? Why? Because my mother says I cannot befriend a guy, and it can not remain purely a friendship as it would between Utsidi and myself. On the other hand, is a relationship yam Utsidi gonna remain the traditional BFF? What happens when we become lovers?
So, I mean, what I want to put out, so that we are clear within people is we are talking romantic relationships,
Romantic relationships.
Okay, cool. And then also, I mean, with romantic relationships, maybe if you're saying old, do you mean traditional relationships?
I feel like it's still a label, like Ubonisa said, it would be put under those categories with the old. And so let's just talk romantic relationships.
So basically, obviously, also in romantic relationships, there's traditional relationships, right? Within there's so we are saying good there was an old way, and so
of doing things, because
okay. Because what I wanted to say is that, okay, now I forget. But yes, I think labeling in relationships and romantic relationships is much more important nowadays because of, the world, not because of the world we live in, but because of important things like consent. I would say in a relationship, consent is very important because I want to know how far we're taking this. Is it a situationship so that I don't say that you are doing this? Is it a romantic relationship where we are committed? Is it an open relationship? So the labeling, I think what we should do is not make it to our disadvantage, but for clarity purposes, you see. That when I'm in this relationship with you, Boniswa, I don't even want to say just friends.
Yes.
No, let me just be clear about that. We are friends. This is a friendship.
Yes,
that's the kind of the relationship it is. But are we sex buddies? Is this a situationship? I'm okay. Is this a polygamy? Are you a polygamist? Are you this? So when you get into a relationship, make it clear to me, Uguti, okay, darling, I'm a polygamist. And the way in which I should be loved is that, I have Mam Kulu and I have Nagwenu. That is also in the modern. I mean, there is now a light shed on that. If I'm saying that, and also even with that, right? If you have told me and I'm okay with that and I've consented to that, you being in a relationship with me, darling, and also being in a relationship with Palisa, it's none of my business. I should know that now I'm in a relationship with you and we are doing what we are doing here. And then when you are with Palisa, I do not care how that relationship is handled.
She's down with the side.
No,
we are not judging.
But true. Also, I don't want a Jola 99 situation that I'm with you here. But also, Kanti, there's person B and person C and what. But within these diseases, it's those things that we should be in one page. I think if we are talking about relationships nowadays, is that a woman is not your doormat. Power is shared within. You are good at something, I'm good at something. If at all you are good at cooking as the guy, then cook, it's fine. That didn't mean I'll be good at cleaning.
Something else.
We shouldn't say Uguti because traditionally the woman is the one that cooks.
Hence we say conditioning. hence we say conditioning, you know. Insila esemqondweni womuntu. I'm going to talk about us black people. Understand?
Okay.
We grow up under izinto ukuthi intombazane yenza u1 no2 no3. Okay, that's
Just like
how
us, some gents, yeah.
yes, nomfana naye
Yeah.
ekhaya. Okay, so uhlala uyi1 ke Mr. Peck. Awukwazi ukupheka. Awusebenzi. Uzodla ama take out. Wathatha. Hence we are supposed to
Eish.
learn skills outside of ukuthi ngiyintombazane,
Ngumfana.
ngiyumfana. Like I'm supporting what she's saying.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm growing up ekhaya where Tina we do everything.
Mfana
Engadini,
ntombazane.
everyone. You understand that? So in a relationship or a situation shape, like you place it, you know. If he can cook, hell, he's also sexier that way.
Let's not laugh about it. Yeah, definitely.
That's me.
Let's learn to cook, please. Brothers, we ask you in romantic relationships, please learn to cook. It's my ask.
It's our ask. Oh.
Yeah, no.
Cook for me. I mean, then I think it puts us down to love language.
Love language.
Another important thing with romantic relationships that I will say is love somebody with their love language. And I know, I mean, that is so hard to learn. You know,
Yeah.
I would also admit that that's something that was hard for me to learn, you know, because you are thinking, I'm this kind of person. But to compliment your partner, then, you know, you need to love them in their love language. And I mean, that doesn't mean, you take shit.
It doesn't.
It
Yeah, it
doesn't
doesn't.
at all,
Yeah.
if you get what I mean, you know.
Yeah, you.
So, yeah, there are expectations also in relationship.
And that's the reality of things. Expectations.
Aish.
But I mean, I mean expectation in a positive manner, not a. I mean,
Yeah,
you can't just come
understand.
in there without expectations, guys. I mean, you have I know there are some guys you will never find me dating.
Because
And
of
I won't even
expectations.
lie about it because of my expectations.
Shins.
I will not. I mean, obviously, we have other people who are saying their expectations is that I want to be with somebody who's 10 years older
But-
than me or who has a car. If that's your expectation,
That's your
I mean,
baby.
there are other
It's crazy,
expectations
though.
which are far-fetched.
It's crazy though. Now, you know, I think about it now. It's so with expectations, right? Do they change as you grow, or do they remain the same? You know, because I feel like as you sort of like progress, right, become, you know, there's things you unlearn, there's things you learn.
Yeah.
So, do expectations then have to ukuthi kube into ukuthi ukhula nayo, like this angithola, or can they change? Can they? Because I feel like when we're talking about love language, right, there's sort of like there's the middle line the middle point where both of us need to sort of like meet.
Find common ground.
Yeah, you know, so that the other
Compromise.
yeah, so that aguna like that
Yeah, but
balance.
remember we said that in the beginning,
Yeah.
the first true love. Wait. The real true love is self-love.
Yeah.
You understand things about you, which means you are open to understanding things about
The other person.
the other person, finding common ground.
And I mean, also in terms of self-love, what I want to say, and relationship, especially romantic relationships of any kind, you know, is that if you don't love yourself, there is no way you can love another person. You see. So, yeah, There is no way. There
Does
is
it-
no
does
way.
then it-
If
it-
you don't know yourself, what
It
you
goes
want,
back
you
to
don't
the
have.
teachings, the conditionings. We are taught to love another person. Are we ever truly taught to love self? Not in the manner of
Fully and
uyabona,
completely.
not in the manner of appearance, guys. There's a yin to every yang. There's a good to every bad. Do I understand
Aish.
ukuthi I've got anger issues? I'm not saying I have anger issues, but should do I understand that? How does that impact the other person?
Because that's where toxic relationships come about. Because if you don't understand yourself, everything that you touch, you hurt.
breaks. It breaks. You know, you mentioned something, Nguti, like when this whole conversation was starting, Nguti, this is a conversation you're gonna, be straightforward, Nguti. You're talking to black people, you're talking,
Not quite. I'm talking to human, but being black.
Shoot. Hey. Dang. So, like, you mentioned something else, Nguti. It's especially with us, being black, and growing under black parents, African parents. The thing is, the way in which also how they communicated information was not in a way which it kind of sort of penetrates and sits where it's supposed to hit in terms of the development that they had. Because sometimes you would hear such words with it, I was tanned, but how it would come out, it's coming from a place of I don't want you to do the same mistake, but in a sense of agents, which there's anger attached to it. It doesn't sit with it. Let's have this conversation with it. I was tired, so you can ask the questions with it. How, and where do I start? But it would always be with it. I was tired, so something like that. It kind of just ingena iphume ngayi it ingena ngo right iphume ngo left, because I don't know. So I'm just thinking about the concept.
Like Tsepone, I was tande, but kuyini ukuzithanda?
Exactly.
Kuyini? Have you taught me ukuthi mawuthi ngiyithande ngizithanda ngayiphi indlela? But mawuzothi ukufunda ukuthanda omunye umuntu, that's a whole different thing. We are taught to love another person, but we hardly love self. We can't be taught to love self. You have to love self.
Because also it then happens where because what you're saying and what you're doing, young Tola, like you're saying, we are taught and we are shown, because a lot of the time as people corner this instance of validation which is validated, and we show people more love. So as kids coming up, we look at that, we say, so we are taught to say it's tande, but in a harsh and in a way that it doesn't show Guti, this is how Meleng is tande akona. But when it comes to you telling us Guti, you have to love other people, there's more like a visual sense attached to it. That creates that whole habit or behavior for you to follow through and live out those habits, and you become your environment. You are an environment.
You are your environment. We are nature,
True.
We are nature. You are your environment. There's laws of attractions and all of that, I need. So mawucabanga negative, what are you gonna attract? Negativity. I had a conversation with a male person. Yes, let's call it that. So he was saying to me that black people are gods. We first need to understand that ukuthi everything that is life on earth stems from a black person. By nature, umuntu omnyama, umnene, we are nurturers. You understand? Not saying other races.
No, but love is in our nature.
Yeah, understand. We are those people. Now, a lot has been distorted from someone's point of
View.
Abantu abamnyama bayazithanda, bayathandana.
Kakhulu. Mina, what I want to say about, you said one thing, right? Okay, so much is missing, right?
Yeah.
So much information is missing. We've always seen white love in movies. Hey, you don't see black love. It's because those stories are untold, right?
Yeah.
So whatever we black people are also depicting, it's negative, contrary to what we actually are.
Exactly. So I mean, I hear your point.
It's the male person. He has
I
don't know though how should I think I should have been workshopped on how I should address the interviewer when we are talking
No,
about
but you can just be yourself.
So
yeah, I
After all,
know.
it's where authentic stories are told by real people.
Anyways, preserving myself. Just now, hey, it will be public record. Kanti the interviewer doesn't want public
We know
record.
that.
It wasn't discussed in the relationship on how
No.
I address
No,
the
you're-
interviewer publicly.
It's your liberty, girl. Come on.
So basically, you know, when you were saying the manner we have been told how to love ourselves, how it was communicated to us,
Yeah.
wasn't, in a way that is just so open and lovable, so, and it's society has done that. Who is society? We are society.
society.
But also, a call to action now is for us to change that for the upcoming
Generation.
Exactly. It's to now change, tell our stories, how stories of love are like, and the manner in which now we communicate them, we see that needs to change.
has to.
Exactly. So that is how it can change. We do not have control of how society deals.
Yeah, that's true.
Unfortunately,
Especially
But
because we are part of the
yeah.
society too.
So,
We
but we
contribute
have,
also, yeah.
we have the power to change it, for another person, and we have, and we know now that Boniswa, to tell you that that's toxic, right? Because I've learned when I was toxic that I shout and I scream and I break the windows.
Yes.
Like I become this crazy black woman, and that is how crazy black women are depicted, that they throw a tantrum and come to bay if he's cheating and throw the
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So now, or maybe I have been doing it. My crazy self be breaking your windows and stuff, but I have unlearned and stuff.
Yeah.
So the next thing to tell a sister is, no, that's not how we do it.
Yes.
For example, Mina, I'm always bothered when I'm watching Uyajola 99. And I mean, guys, there's bad and good there.
Thank you. We are literally airing how we break our own families for the world to see.
Exactly.
Why don't the other races ever depict such things?
And I mean, they call it wretched TV and blah blah blah.
It is that. What knowledge are we feeding
to the next
Exactly. And so, even within that, let's say I'm the side chick and I didn't know. Now the main chick comes and tells me to stay in my place and ripping off my hair without hearing my side of the story. Like we are. So things like that. But also, I now don't want to be the one coming into people like you said about love.
Yeah.
Let it be love all the way, that even when I'm telling you, Boniswa, that okay, this is toxic what you're doing in your relation. I mean, these things were built like that. Our parents were told by their sisters or their mothers, or when you're coming into a relationship, my child, you have to cook for the baby and stay in my in Tombazan.
And that's what they
no,
say.
now exactly. How do we change it to say no? You see this part, and how I give it to you should be in the most loving way. I shouldn't throw it to you like
Yeah.
Mele.
Yeah.
your lived experiences. You should try to. I mean, let's not laugh when somebody's being cheated on. Or also, I mean, there are toxic things that are happening right now, and they'd be like, why doesn't that woman leave? Mina bengizohamba, yeah. If mina bebangcheatela bengizohamba.
Oh, yes.
Things like that. I mean, how you give it to the other person. How are they supposed to feel? Like you're saying when you're saying, you trashing out prostitutes and saying, when these men go to strip clubs or whatever, abana mahloni, things like that. The people that are doing that, I mean, leave the poor lady with her profession and her choices, and face your partner, the person that you are in a relationship with.
Oh, that's a beautiful one. Oh, wow.
Guys, some things they come back. They called it a ripple effect.
Yeah.
And then someone taught me that change is the only constant thing. With that being said, what are we doing to change
the whole narrative?
To unlearn the
culture.
teachings, the conditionings, understand? Be the change you want to see. Someone said that if I'm not mistaken, it was Lebu Ranchi.
Lebu Ranchi.
But be the change you want to see as a quote.
Whatever that was, but it's stuck. It's stuck.
But at least she's quoting it.
I'm quoting something.
So it's a quote by someone prominent, like that Martin Luther King.
Akunandaba mina ngayizwa ngobani ngoLebu Ranchi. She was imparting. Yes, I'm not saying she owns the quote. I'm saying it's
Definitely
what I heard. So
sorry to interject. There wouldn't be any fire without there wouldn't be any fire party without the fire starter.
Yes! What did ignite the spark there?
It almost.
Okay, sorry, continue.
So the only way we can create change realistically must deal no muntu. Each one should sit with him or herself down and really talk to their self. Wamukele okuhle ngawe, wamukele okubi ngawe, so that it does not become a burden nagomunye umuntu. We are healing a nation. you know.
And I mean, also with relationships, I like the fact that you said "Oguhle nogubi," because for me, a teaching in relationships, that's where I also then did learn that I'm ugly, man. You know, and also yes, because also I mean the thing about relationships that I wanted to bring attention to, it's a lot of things within. I mean, you are dealing with a whole other person also. That is why it's important to always make them aware. I think that's what I've learned.
Yes,
you know that when that's how you want to be loved and whatever. Or I mean, you don't get it at like
yes,
I like
one
that.
try after the honeymoon phase of
bona umuntu yena because during the honeymoon phase ngenza izinto to impress you today. You know, and once there's then that there's a vibe, there's a connection, I'll have to unwear this impression
Yeah.
and then ngibona
The real you.
ngifuna ukwazi ukuthi mawukwatile unjani. Yes, like you are saying ukuthi maybe you are ugly. Yes. Because mawiyi-one, you what takes you off? You are always in a vibe. Mawiyi-one.
That's
but
true.
the other person coming into your space, you being open to say, okay,
And
mankwatile towards another person in a relationship now. How am I gonna react? How are they gonna react? What is it that we can do to avoid lezi zinto zokuthi manje we are cat and rat scratching?
yes, that's also the unlearning that happens.
Unlearning.
I think that is how a relationship lasts. You know, also I remember you darling talked about
why?
It happens.
Let it out.
you talked about expectations. Do they change? Do they stay the same or what happens?
As you grow, yeah.
But the thing is, and Bonusa, you talked about change. You are always changing, and hopefully you are changing for the better and not for the worse in the relationship. And when you are changing for the better, that is why sometimes, you know, you can start this in the same page, but somebody evolves more than the other person and whatever, and that is when communication gets lost, broken promises happen, things like that happen. So yes, you can say that the kind of woman that I want, you have all the right that I want is kind of woman A, B, C, D, and if I don't tickle your fancy anymore, then the love is lost.
That's true.
Lion.
But can you?
Love is over now.
So can it be found? Because there's a difference between the love has ended and the love is lost, right? Because something that you can lose your kickers or is kiasa bacon young toilet.
Wow.
It's
Yeah.
So
Good question
Can then it be found after being lost?
Angas,
Love can be repaired.
love is infinity.
And also, I mean, love forever. I mean, there are a lot of forevers that happen, you know. You as a person, you have a potential. And also, I mean, let's not hide things and stuff.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring your attention to the 80-20 percent thing. That love is always that, you know what, ne? I love Bay 80%. But I mean, that is why they also say that you always fall in love with people and you don't have to feel bad about that.
it.
Because
real?
I don't have 100% of that. And then there you are in a taxi. I have 80%. There you are in a taxi. But the 20% are very tricky and very problematic. Because if you fall into the 20% trick, you lose the 80%, right? So you have to tell yourself and use your discretion that am I falling within the, so I can't
or the
say
80%.
I mean, and everybody here has experienced it, that there you are. Don't lie to your person and say you love them 100% now, forever and ever. And then now, there you are at Kwalichaba, hey, dancing by yourself there, and then the 20% then appears. Wow. Wow, lapho, But I'm not saying fall into the trap. Go on and fall into the trap, because that's disrespect to the other person now.
That's true.
Altogether.
But your point makes sense.
But what I'm saying is that, I mean, that you can fall in love with other people, but it doesn't mean now go on and pursue it. Now that's the problem. That's where the problem comes.
Yes.
When every time you come across 20% of what CD doesn't have, you are gilligitling
You
in
can't
it.
have your bread buttered
the same.
both sides, yo.
So yeah, 20%
There always
can
needs to be
tickle
a
your fancy, but if 20% says, let me give you my numbers, that is where you stop it there. I
Put a
think
full stop.
I think that is, say, no, you know, that delightful dance. But
Wow, that's an interesting thought.
because I mean, like, you can go to a bar and sit there, and then somebody's like, hey, let's have a drink, and like you have a drink, but other people who you are like, this I shouldn't pursue after a drink. It ends here and now. Because mistakes ought to happen, manje, if it goes, So that is.
There are mistakes, and
I
then there
put
are
let me not
mistakes
even
by-
say mistakes. Hey,
It's a choice you make.
yeah, I wouldn't say it's a mistake, but also what I have when I hear people talk about relationships and the big cheating and whatever, I have come to decide for me. Okay, I haven't told my partner, but I have come to decide that for in cheating for me is not a deal breaker. So if my boyfriend cheats on me, I don't think that will be a deal breaker. For other people, cheating is a deal breaker.
is.
Other things are more for me than deal breakers. Like if you don't keep to your promises, that would be a deal breaker. Physical abuse is a deal breaker for me. For other people, maybe it isn't.
Yes.
But cheating is less to me than physical abuse and things like that, because it's not a deal breaker. Why? Because it has everything to do with you and what you are lacking, and nothing to do with me. So if you cheat on me with girl B, it has everything to do with
on
what you are
you.
lacking. It's
Okay.
not because
What's a
I
deal
don't
breaker?
have
What's a deal breaker?
eyebrows. That if at all your partner does that,
This
the
conversation is too intelligent.
the relationship
Let's calm
ends.
down.
A deal breaker,
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah.
Ne? Angithi mase abantu, we have things we do and things we like done in
A certain way.
a certain way. So what I'm gathering from uti I relationship ne guye. Not that she advocates for cheating, but what she's saying is she wouldn't leave your ass if you cheat as such, but she'd leave your ass if you beat her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So also,
Let's
I
say-
mean, to put it in that manner is, if you say, I don't, people would say this like in relationships, and I don't think it's something we should be saying, but like if someone is like, I'll never forgive Tidi for that. or when a baby, if you do that, you must know that we done.
We
type
done.
of thing.
Deal.
I'm not going back to your ass if you cheat. It's
Still
finished.
separate.
No, I mean, for me that wouldn't. But if, like you're saying, but if you hit me, then that, like, I mean,
funny
to
as
the
yeah,
point
man.
where I look at myself in the mirror and I see my hair pulled, there is my blue eyes, and it's been happening ... then that is a red flag for me. I don't know your deal breakers,
Yeah.
Bonisa.
Cheating is definitely a deal breaker
For you,
for me.
and why?
And I don't know. I guess to some extent I'm a selfish person. I'm a possessive lover. You know, you can't be sharing. It's ours, yes. We are good sharing, but now don't be sharing what we already are sharing. That is uboniswa. So mangithandana noMatsidiso, I'm on these lyriking
The what club?
war clubs. I wanna look at you. I wanna bask in the presence of you and you. So once you go outside now, you are taking that and you are giving it
To another
person.
But do you think that they're giving it the same way?
It doesn't have to be the same way. Why are you giving it away? No puns intended. Yeah, we did say we are poets.
Oh man.
No, I mean, there's diseases out there.
You know.
Like, you trust someone and they giving it away.
Maybe
You
to be
don't know
blunt,
what.
Yeah. Yeah.
I believe we are adults, right?
Yeah.
If you have a partner, 90% of the chances is you are intimate
With that partner.
with
Yes.
that partner.
Sure.
It's not just about banging and all of that.
It's more
It's more for me. Connecta.
on a mental state,
on a spiritual, whatever.
energies.
It's energies. So I take a part of you and I give away.
Definitely.
So once you do that, kulula nokuthi spiritually catch all these nasty things. We don't practice spirituality ngendlela efanayo. I suppose even when we go to Christianity, that's why in the Bible it's like sex should be between married people who've taken a vow, a covenant to this person nokuthi I will and
Yeah.
you will.
That is why they would then go on to say sex is a covenant on its own.
It is a covenant.
Because you are sealing, saying, I mean, when you guys explain it in that manner, definitely that is so important to me. But also, I mean, at a greater sense, I don't know, somewhere, somehow in my head, what I'm feeling in terms of cheating and whatnot is that it's more of what that person is lacking than me putting myself on a comparison
Level.
with girl
Yeah,
C,
yeah.
and breaking my head in saying, what does she have that I don't have?
Sure.
Or what does he have that I don't have? Type of thing. So to me, that's that I mean, there is conflicts that you are having with yourself when the cheater that mina I am not satisfied, or maybe I'm feeling if I'm not given attention, then this is what the kind of behavior that I do
consent to.
basically. So that is how, but that is very important also what you guys are saying. I'm
Yeah,
interested
so-
in hearing
Because in
Your-
earlier on we
deal breakers.
I suppose, Futi,
Yeah.
with the different relationships out there, our funny relationships are so unique within the sense of romantic relationship. nature says, I don't like what you like. We might like the same things. We'll definitely also not like certain things. Whatever might tickle your fancy might not necessarily tickle my fancy. Hence, I'm a deal breakers. Enga funny, because as fun, naguma relationship, our quest is not for the same benefits.
Yeah, that's
And also, people are in relationships for different reasons. I mean,
Our
some people
quests
are
are not for the
attracted
same
to each other
reasons,
because
yeah.
of money. So if there's no money anymore, we break up.
That's their deal breaker. So
it's kind of crazy because, like, I mean, the way in which how I view it, right? Love is nature, right? And whenever you look at nature, you'd see, you know, when it grows or when it blossoms with love, you know, like you said earlier on, it's infinite.
it's infinite.
You know, and also whenever you look at nature, you'll see there's different seasons for nature, right? There's a season that will turn the grass to brown again, but
Yes.
there's also spring that will turn love into greenish again and make it. So I feel like men, you know, personally,
It's nature.
yeah, it is.
We are nature.
We are
guys.
nature, you know.
We
but
are love.
We are. My God.
it's
Yes.
learning those things. Which,
It's
you know,
it's understanding
Understanding.
those things about umuntu. A lot has been altered, guys. A lot has to be unlearned. Oh, relearned.
I mean, in relationships, I feel that is your world. So, I mean, if the mountain in your world is this, and the valley in your relationship is
Is that?
you know, yeah, you have no business
In other people's
dictating.
mountains being pink or green.
You have no business.
What are you doing there?
You know, unless if you were put within that business, you know. But and that happens when one party does that,
all right.
By
Guys,
nature.
brings the other,
and-
the
and-
other. I don't like the othering of people, but
Yes.
brings the other within this.
And you know, I think that's where we'll leave it at, you know, because
We don't
am I
talk
saying it
about
properly?
sex.
Why don't people talk about sex? Sex is a
You know, I
beautiful
was
thing.
interested in hearing what we're gonna say with love and sex.
Yeah.
You know,
Eesh, love and sex. A whole topic.
It's
on
a whole-
on
yeah.
its own.
It's a whole topic. On
please
its own.
do invite us to talk
Yes,
about love
most
and
definitely.
sex.
Love and sex.
Most definitely.
But sex is important.
Sex is important.
Very important.
And sex before marriage.
Well, about that.
All right, so it's Strength of Woman, and you know, it's still
The love talk.
Women's Month. Yes, and the topic was love talk. So, just in closing, guys, I mean, what would you say to you guys? I almost said old man. Never. These women are
in
very
their
young.
age.
These women are very young here.
Yeah. I mean, after 25, you
Their
are
wisdom.
any age.
Their
yo.
they've got
You are
old
21, you are 60.
I can be whatever I wanna be.
They've got old wisdom, yeah. So for just any words of encouragement or something, G, that you would like to share?
For relationships.
No, just for
love.
women. It's Women's Month.
Yeah, it's been nice, but also, can we talk to umuntu and not just women and not just a man? Can we talk to human?
Shoot.
You know, women are dealing with whatever they are dealing with, but women men are also dealing with whatever they are dealing with. Someone is dealing with something. Can't we find common ground to coexist and just help each other with the dealings? Yeah.
Yo! Miss Mabe?
I mean, it's intertwined. Men and women. Men love, women love. It's all intertwined. And, you know, before we also get into humanism, being human, you know, it's also important to not ignore the oppressions that we put there. And what I will say again is consent. You can be in a friends with benefits. You can be in a situationship, in a marriage, in a committed relationship, in a maslalisane, in a what. But consent to me is very important. So even if you are married, if you say no, you mean no, you know. So both women, men need to understand consent, you know, and that I am not making you do something that you don't want to do.
You have to want to.
That is what I'll say.
Yeah. And then from me now, Upakman is the 9 to 5 in Tamu I think to chokega, man. Like I said, you know, from now on, I would suggest that you get yourself a journal, get yourself that pen, you know, have some time with yourself and write down, you know, what you're thinking, write down what you're feeling. When you hear these conversations, go back, go reflect, go look at some of the things, you know, that you think, you know, you need to unlearn, you know, and learn some other things, you know. But other than that, please do catch us on the Facebook page. Yeah, it's the People's Journal podcast, and then obviously on Instagram, that's where we're active. It's the People's Journal. It's TPJ, basically TPJ_podcast. And yeah, it's love and light, you know, respect to all the women and to all our gents. I so wish that you guys get this opportunity to listen to this conversation.
Learn our love language.
Learn our
love language.
language. Yeah. Thank you.